Welcome to another episode of Strictly Business Unscripted. I'm your host, Keandra Jones. This podcast educates, ignites inspiration, fosters encouragement, and paves the way for growth among small businesses and the overall Oak Cliff community. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Dallas Zoo, Home Care Network, and ServPro. Thank you for your continued support. Now, let's get into it. Today's episode is all about partnership between the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce and recently partnered with Independent Financial. Today, we'll meet Larsha Thomas Noel, who is the Senior Community Development Officer for Independent Bank or Independent Financial. With over 17 years of experience in financial services, Larsha is versed in retail banking, small business, and consumer lending, as well as business development, nonprofit outreach, and financial regulatory practices. In her current role, Larsha works with internal partners, community-based organizations, governmental entities, and regulatory agencies to promote economic inclusion and empowerment in marginalized communities, aligning with the Community Reinvestment Act and fair lending practices. Larsha holds a master's degree in business administration, but is also passionate about public policy and governmental affairs. Larsha is dedicated to addressing disenfranchisement of marginalized communities and aspires to be a change agent for these communities through her work. Wow. Please help me welcome Larsha. Welcome today.
Yes,
how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. That was a mouthful.
To say the least, right?
That was a mouthful. So we've talked about just a little bit through your bio what your professional background is. Give us what your background is in your own words. That sounds really great, but who are you and who are you professionally?
Yes. Well, thank you again for having me. I always like to tell people those bios are really, really great, intros. But the real me, the reason I like to go back to the why. I'm just a little girl from North Florida, country, small little town of Madison, Florida. My dad was military, and so shortly after I was born, we kind of bounced around everywhere from all over the United States to Germany for a little bit, some parts of Europe. But something that being a military brat, but then also being able to go back home and see my community, something that it taught me is that the world is the same virtually everywhere. You're going to have a plethora of individuals from different backgrounds, but there's always that need, especially when we're talking about disenfranchised communities, low to moderate income communities. And coming from a disenfranchised community, my origins, it really inspired me when I got into banking and financial services to want to empower through education. I think that's one of the biggest things that it holds communities back is not just education in the form of going to school every day and going to college, but education about other resources and how to achieve wealth in society.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. My gosh. Okay, so tell me, how long have you been with Independent Financial?
Yeah, so a little over 2.5 years.
Really?
I've been with the company. I say, time flies when you're having fun because I feel like it was just yesterday. So a little over 2.5 years with the organization.
Okay. And so why Independent Financial?
Great question. Well, I had been with a couple other banks before, and getting back to that why. I got to the point in my career, it's like, why would I want to work for that company?
Yeah.
Oftentimes you're like, oh man, why would they want me? Why do they want me? But why would I want to work for that organization? And something that captivated me was the passion that they had for community and community outreach. And we really had a robust conversation, about my background and where I wanted to go and what my passion was for the community. And I felt that it aligned, especially here in the DFW market. I'm not a Dallas native, but I love Dallas. I have family here in the area. And again, despite wherever you may go, the need is always there to reach back and give to the community, whether that's, again, through education and resources, but also through investment, grants, and just that overall technical assistance, right? Using my knowledge to empower.
I think that's always important to talk about why you chose them versus why they chose you. Because if you choose them, that means you're passionate about what you're doing, right? And so it's just so important to understand why you chose to be where you are.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how specifically independent financial builds community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I like to look at it as really it's a multi-faceted approach to building community. One, it has to start with our values and our morals, and it's right there in our mission that we want to be. Although we're growing in size and things like that, we're still a community bank at heart. Never forgetting that community that helped us get where we are. So really back to those core values of the organization, but then that implementation through employee engagement and volunteerism, right? We want our employees to be passionate about something, and we want to reward them about that passion in the community. So allowing them to have time off in order to serve in the community. And then after serving for so many hours with a particular organization, it could be multiple organizations, we will give that organization a bonus just from the employee's sweat equity. And so we're really putting our money where our mouth is, from the mission to the employee involvement, but then also through our products and our services, right? One thing I love about Independent Financial is that they take the feedback that community members give, employees give, what we're seeing in the community, doing needs assessments and looking at, municipal consolidated plans and seeing what the ultimate need is for the community and making those products to meet people where they are. And so we have an amazing mortgage program that we were able to develop with that input. It's a community path program for home ownership, to increase home ownership specifically in low to moderate income areas, whether that's certain zip codes or census tracts, or through to individuals who just are considered low to moderate income. And I think there is a disconnect because sometimes people think, low to moderate, oh, you're making 25,000, 35,000. But when we're looking at the average median income of Dallas County, almost 100,000 or a little bit over 100,000, 80% of that, which is, can be considered moderate income, that's $80,000, roughly $83,000 that you can make and still qualify for a lot of programs. And so that's why we kind of go back to that importance of education, because sometimes when we have those amazing products where it's 100% financing and we help with closing costs and down payment assistance, people think, oh, I don't qualify. But when you really start to look at the numbers, you do qualify. If you're making $75,000 and you're looking for a home in Dallas County and Dallas, Texas, and the surrounding areas, you can qualify for a lot of programs. That also means making sure that we're engaged with the city, right? Being a part of their down payment assistance programs and being a preferred lender. So again, creating those products, forming those partnerships, as well as knowing the resources that are available to our community members and pushing them out through that engagement.
That is amazing because in this environment, most folks feel like you've got to be making six figures to qualify for a home, and so that's really helpful in this community. Now let's talk about business offerings. What things or what kinds of programs do you offer for the business community?
Yeah, so we are a preferred SBA lender. We do all SBA lending. We actually are one of the leaders in the community in several of our markets for SBA lending. So we do the traditional SBA loans, but we also have some products that we have recently developed, again, to meet small businesses where they are. We have some working capital loans as well as some equipment loans, right? Oftentimes when people or small businesses think about equipment loans, they're just thinking about, a stove or a car. But that equipment, that can be a plethora of things, right? And so that's why it's important to have that relationship with your banking partners and things like that to understand what qualifies so I can get this equipment loan, because it may be something you never even thought about that's going to help your business thrive and grow. So we have competitive rates on those products. Again, I go back to working capital, line of credit loans, because again, small business businesses need that in order to help their business thrive and grow. And we always say, come see us before you need the money, right? Form that relationship before you need the money, so that when times are hard or you have to make payroll or do things like that to help your business thrive and grow, hey, you've already had that relationship. You already have that line of credit. So we have, like I said, a robust suite of products, especially those SBA loans. We really try to lead with those because they're typically the quick turnaround. We can get capital in the client's hands as soon as possible, but then we also have those ones that are going to be tailored to meet the needs of the small businesses.
So how difficult would it be for a small business to qualify for an equipment loan?
So most of our loans, we do look at, credit score, 675 ideally, right, for the credit score. And based on that credit score, we are able to, avoid having to look at some other things. Most organizations do want, 2 years worth of financials, but if the credit score is great enough, we can just look at 1 year of financials, right? We are going to look at your ability to repay, because that's ultimately what it comes back to, credit and then ability to repay. But if, the financials look great after 1 year worth of financials with the credit score, then we can really do that loan relatively quick. But I always say, and I did this when I was a consumer and small business lender, that credit score is going to take you very, very far. Even as a small business owner, and you're thinking, oh, I don't need to worry about my personal credit score. You really do if you're going to have to guarantee that loan. So we do really want to help. If you're not at a 675 or you're teetering on that credit score, we want to see how we can help you get where you need to be, whether it's through education, whether it's through maybe offering some credit building tools, secured line of credit, secured credit card, things like that to get you where you need to, so that we can ultimately get you approved for that business loan.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, especially in a community such as Oak Cliff that's considered to be a banking desert. And so the fact that you have programs and easy ways for some of our businesses to qualify for equipment loans, et cetera, then that's meaningful to this community.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about our relationship.
Yes.
So this is
new, but we love it. We
do too.
We love it. Yeah.
We love this. And so I'm partial to the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce, of course. I could go on, and in fact, for me, when I hear people in the community that say anything about Oak Cliff, like, I'm ready to, absolutely, without hesitation, I'm taking off, fingernails and earrings. And so, why did you choose to partner with the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce? Why did you become a member?
Yes, I think one thing I will say that we noticed is you guys are very active, right? And not just active with, just doing, galas once a year or doing luncheons and things like that, but active in you're intentional with trying to empower small businesses, especially small businesses here in the southern sector. And that's through educational summits. I think we have a summit coming up today, lunch and learns, and it. Your story is really told very well online, as well as your website and things like that. Like, we know what you're doing. You're very, very active. You guys aren't afraid to tell your story. And so we wanted to support and join an organization that is just as passionate about small business and community as we are. And so it was a very easy choice once we were able to uncover, all the great things you're doing. Like, hey, we need to be involved with this organization.
Well, we love it. We value the partnership. We love it. This has been very meaningful. So we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. We'll be back with Ms. Larsha here in just a few moments. Stay tuned. And we're back with Miss Larsha, and she is with Independent Financial. Welcome back. Thank you for being here again.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Got just a few more questions for you, especially about our partnership.
Yes.
So you just talked to us about why you became a member of the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce, and we as a Chamber of Commerce definitely value that partnership. But you guys have partnered with us on one of our key initiatives, the Business University.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so, why did you guys choose to do that?
Yeah, well, we felt that again, it goes back to education and resources, right? We knew that you guys were very active in the community, especially with a focus on small business, and we've seen that you had this amazing program, and we wanted to see how can we collaborate and take that program to the next level, or tweak it, or tailor it to make it our own. And you guys had such a great outline; it was almost a no-brainer for us. How can we do this business university, and then also when businesses come out on the end of it, they've learned invaluable information, but then they also have some tangibles, right? They have the opportunity to have the line of credit, right? Some working capital to put back into their business, as well as some cash bonuses and incentives. And then, of course, an amazing vacation at the end if they,
Right.
win that amazing pitch competition. And so something that we wanted to make sure that we implemented over this 10 plus week cohort was making sure that individuals knew the financial side of the business, right? Everyone has really, really great ideas. Everyone has passion for their business, but something that we have found, and I found over the last almost 17 years, is that they don't know the ins and outs of making sure they run the business properly from a financial standpoint. And so, although they're going to learn about marketing and they're going to learn about branding and networking and things like that, we wanted to make sure that we also talk about business taxes. We want to make sure we talk about maintaining and building your business credit and why that personal credit is also very important. How to be ready when you are ready to go to the lender by building a cohesive business plan, right? Bringing in partners such as the DEC, such as SCORE, Dallas, having those additional resources. And then as we have some things coming up throughout the cohort, inviting them to some of those events so they can get their brand out there and connecting them with other partners. So we wanted to, again, just build on something you guys had already foundationally made great, but by adding, again, injecting some of those financial components in there and some other amazing partners to help these businesses grow and thrive.
Well, we love it. We love it, and our students do too.
Yeah.
So the Business University is, as you said, this 10-week, I call it a leveling up for our businesses.
Yes.
It really helps our businesses stabilize and ultimately thrive. And so that helps the overall Oak Cliff economy when we partner with independent financial and other institutions to be able to stabilize our businesses. We had an overwhelming response from just, we sent out an invitation, of course, to the Oak Cliff community. We had 22 applicants that applied for the program. You guys accepted 13 of those businesses. You adopted them.
Yes.
Tell us,
babies.
They're your babies. They're your babies. One of the things that we saw during COVID was that there were so many Oak Cliff businesses, unfortunately, and specifically minority businesses that did not have relationships with banks. And so we need these businesses to do exactly what they're doing and develop these relationships with banking partners. Can you talk to us about some of the business industries that you guys have adopted here in Oak Cliff?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I feel like it's such a wide range from, those that are in the beauty industry, which I love, right? I mean, we have someone that does lashes and someone that does hair and an esthetician. But then we also have those who are in the food services industry, right? Someone who makes some chocolates, but they're very unique to their culture. We also have someone who makes specialized teas and gherkins, which I found about, right? Some pickles, which I love pickles. Didn't know that we call them gherkins flavored, which is so unique. But then also we have an Oak Cliff cycle. So cycle is where we can go to a bike shop. And I think through the interview process, we learned so much about bikes, Keandra. We're like, you can add this to it and make it, stable. It's just a wide range to a party setup. I mean, a wide range of businesses who are doing amazing and have been in business, most of them for a substantial amount of time, but they just needed that that leveling up, right? That extra push and injection into their business to take them to the next level, and to form that banking partnership. Since we've started only a couple of weeks ago, I believe over half of the cohort is like, we want to go ahead and open up accounts and start doing business, because we wanted to make sure that when we do this, you're not just seeing myself, you're not just seeing Keandra and maybe two other people from the bank. We wanted to do a full meet and greet. We've had several of our employees from all over the DFW come in and just introduce themselves, and not with the expectation that we're trying to sell a product, but we want to have a relationship. Even if you want to continue a relationship with the organization that you've been with for 10, 15 years, just know I'm an alternative partner you can reach out to if you have a question about your business, if you have a question about a resource with the city, or if you have a question about just anything general. I may not have the answer, but I can point you to the right person. So we're really big at building those relationships that we ultimately hope will help the businesses go to the next level.
Well, y'all do more than that. So every Tuesday, you guys are feeding them. And I struggled this past Tuesday because y'all it just smells good coming down the hallway because you're feeding them, and so we can tell that you guys are passionate about what you do. Even when you talk about it, your face lights up, and that's the kind of passion that cannot be bought or taught. And so we are very, very grateful that you're passionate about our community. Can you talk to us briefly about some of the offerings or some of the classes that are being taught within the Business University?
Yes. So we are teaching everything from managing your business finances, where we go down and talk to them about how to create a financial statement, whether that's a profit and loss statement, a statement of cash flow, and then how the bank is looking at that, right? So it's one thing to, create these things, right, or pay someone to create them for you, but not know what it entails. But we also want them to know the why. Why is this included in that financial statement? And then also, how is a lender or someone, a vendor, is going to be looking at those financial statements? Again, also, we're talking about business credit. We're also going to we were partnering with Lift Fund, who are going to come in and talk about accessing capital from a CDFI versus accessing it through a traditional financial institution, and how we collaborate with those CDFIs to ensure that funding is injected back into our communities. We'll also be having some conversations about marketing and branding, developing your business plan, some mentorship, like I mentioned, with SCORE Dallas, as well as the DEC. So just a slew of different topics. I mean, I can go on. I'm trying to think if I hit all 10 weeks, because we really have a lot, but it's very unique. Again, we try to bring in additional support and additional partners to really reiterate and drive some of the messaging home.
Well, we're very grateful for all that you guys are doing for our community. And we value, as a Chamber of Commerce, partners just like you that come in and see that you can get in and improve things and jump right in, roll up your sleeves and get to work, because we're all working together for the greater good of the community. And so we're grateful for that.
Absolutely.
So today we've heard from Independent Financial, and they have spoken to us about the partnership that they've got with the Oak Cliff community. And so just thank you so much, Larsha, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Thank you for everything, the ongoing partnership. I've just heard that you guys want to extend some partnership relationships and all the things. He was talking to me about that this morning. So thank you. I'm your host, Keandra Jones. And again, thank you for watching another episode of Strictly Business Unscripted. We'll see you next time.